Hello everybody, it is Elvion once again, and normally I do kind of little breakdown videos on specific sections of maps or specific plays that teams do, but I figured I was already going to be streaming these games anyway, streaming the review of the grand finals of the Apex Season 4, and I figured, I might as well record them and upload them to YouTube as well. So this series will be hopefully 7 videos unless something weird happens. I'm gonna do a video for each map, and before we begin, I want to do a little bit of kind of an intro for the whole kind of series of videos. The first of which is I want to talk about a couple storylines that I'm going to be bringing up kind of repeatedly about couple players that went a little bit, like, they didn't get quite as much discussion as I think they kind of should have. One of whom is Cox, who is currently, of course, playing Zenyatta for RunAway, and like later on in the series he plays like Widowmaker and stuff on Gibraltar. I think he went a little bit under the radar because I think GC Busan, the players on GC Busan took so much attention. So I don't think Cox got quite enough attention for how well he performed. As well as I'm going to talk a bit about Huyal. And the reason I'm going to talk a bit about Huyal is because I think Huyal is a absolutely fantastic diva on this patch. But I'm not quite sure how he's going to cope with the new diva changes that are going to be coming through. And of course, we will find out very soon because he will be playing on that patch in APAC. But regardless, I'm going to be talking about him because I think he is an interesting player to talk about. While obviously like Prophet, Hureg, Hagopyun get like tons of attention, I think some of the players of I think Huyal gets a little bit less attention than he should. So this was Nepal, and if you are RunAway, you are a little bit bummed to be going to Nepal, but it's not the worst map. Because I think Oasis is a little bit worse for RunAway. Ilios is a little bit worse. Honestly, none of the maps are really good. Lijiang is probably your best bet. And the reason why is because RunAway does not really have does not tend to run Pharah, and they do not tend to run anti-Pharah stuff. So Cox, if I remember correctly, Cox is actually the Pharah player for RunAway, which of course means Haksal goes on to Lucio, and Bumper generally plays Mercy. But they came to Nepal, which Nepal has one very good Pharah map, and it has this one here, Sanctum, which is a decent Pharah map. And of course, Hureg does play Pharah, and Hagopyun is perfectly fine on Mercy. I prefer seeing him on playmaking sports. I prefer seeing all sports on playmaking sports, but there's only so much you can do. But regardless, Hureg does play Pharah, and RunAway does not really play Soldier or like Widowmaker or anything, at least not in this setup that they have here, this kind of standard 2-2-2, Genji Tracer dive that they have. So GC Busan has kind of a comp advantage going to this map, and the casters talked about that during the broadcast. They did a very good job of advocating that point. So we will go ahead and get into it, and the VOD is muted, just so you can hear my voice more clearly, because I've had people say that they couldn't in the past. So immediately, one of the things to notice is that all of GC Busan comes over to this side of the map, right, where they're trying to control this choke point here, because they do have the Pharah, so they're trying to line up the Pharah to do work, while Stitch, we saw, kind of went over to this side of the map, over to here, and Stitch is looking for the flank. And Stitch and Prophet have a much more similar style, where they both are pretty flank-heavy tracers. Unlike when Prophet played against Birdring, when they played Sina and Kongdu, and Birdring spends a lot more time than a lot of tracers hitting the front line, where Prophet, so it allowed Prophet to get a lot of free flanks off. Prophet definitely out-tracered Stitch on the maps where Prophet played Tracer. There's no question about that on my mind, but at least Stitch contested him, and it slowed down Prophet's momentum a little bit. So, anyways, they progress forward, blah, blah, blah. We're doing a little bit of trading here, and meanwhile, Hureg is pretty much free. We can see that he is corralled, kind of single-handedly supports back into this corner, and the diva of Janu is forced to sit here and protect them. So what this has led to is that Tizzy is getting chunked a little bit, because when your diva's not protecting your Winston, that's going to happen. But so is Jester, and Jester's a little bit lower. So the Winston battle is kind of, even-ish right now. But the fact that Hureg is up here and just completely uncontested is pretty brutal. So you really have to start asking, how are RunAway going to deal with this? Oh yeah, and Prophet getting the recall off there was was such tight timing. You know, it was accidental, but whatever. So Runaway, you know, still can't deal with the Pharah, still can't deal with the Pharah, and nobody can realistically, reliably deal with the Pharah here. Unfortunately for Runaway, they don't really, what do you call it? They don't really have a soldier player, so that's gonna hurt. Hureg sits here, and here we go. So here is kind of the first attempt for Runaway to get back onto the point after after they have lost control. And it's really important that GC Busan won the first fight, because if you lose the first fight with Pharah, it's very difficult to retake with the Pharah, because she offers very little when you are attempting to get through a choke point, but she offers so much when you control the choke point. So Runaway, we can see the kind of main unit is right here. Of course, that is going to be, it's going to be these 5 here. And Stitch is over this way. Wow, that arrow. That's a horrible arrow. Jeez. And Prophet is currently, we can see, right down here. And he is hitting the front line, kind of with the rest of his team. But once he notices Stitch is off to the side, once they spot him, Prophet's immediately over to the side. And I don't believe Prophet... Yeah, there we go. That's right. That's what I wanted to highlight. So, Stitch sees Prophet. Prophet obviously sees Stitch. They fire at each other. But Stitch goes off to this side, right? He goes off that way. And Stitch is kind of going for the long flank at that point. He's either going for the long flank or he's going for the health pack to heal up. Either way, Prophet sees his opportunity and slips in from the back. And Prophet comes in and is able to... let's see. We had a shot of it here somewhere. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So we can see, you know, there's a lot of members of Runaway kind of around here, and Stitch is now, or not Stitch, sorry, Prophet is directly on their backline. Is that Stitch? I can't tell if this is Stitch right here. I don't think it is, but I don't know who else it would be. That might be Stitch, actually. I think Stitch did chase him. But Prophet's able to get into the back, and that's kind of the nature of Stitch being fired upon by Hureg, and I think he took earlier he took a little bit of splash damage from one of Hureg's rockets, and then that plus Prophet's damage forced him to go get the health back, and it let Prophet slip into the back line. And Hureg managed to get a decent, not amazing, what do you call it, rocket barrage there. It does consume pretty much all of Janu's defense matrix though, which is really handy. Gesture does go down, but they have res because they are playing Mercy, so they tempo res, and that slash was really unfortunate for Hawksall. So the reason why is because right now he has everything up, right? He has Blade, he has it for a few more seconds, and he has a dash. So the dash hits, we can see it does damage, so the dash is 50 damage immediately, and then the slash is 120. So that means that Hagapuna is at 30 health right now, and that's kind of the unfortunate point about Genji with his Blade without Nano Boost and without Discord Orb. I mean, that's, you know, it's one of the reasons it doesn't do 200 damage with dash slash. That would be fucking ridiculous. And this slash, he's unable to get the final kill there. So he doesn't get the reset either, and the Mercy's able to get back up in the air and, you know, heal up with her passive, and she's able to keep people up. And he keeps trying. I'll give him that. Hawksall kept trying, but he put a lot of time chasing onto the Mercy for not much value, unfortunately. Where did Hagapune go down, actually? Where did he go down? Stitch kills him somewhere. Of course, we don't get to see. Yeah, of course we don't get to see. But it looks like the Tracer somehow eventually finished him off. And this fight starts, it looks initially pretty good for Runaway. They do get a couple of critical kills, but this is something that Huyal again and again and again does so consistently well. Is he's sitting here on the point, blah blah blah, and he throws a really good self-destruct up in the air. And the reason this is a really good self-destruct is we go back and we can see here. Here's the Winston bubble, right? It's taking up pretty much the whole screen from Tizzy. And the Winston bubble gets popped right as he throws it up. So, and the consistency at which GC Busan does this, where Huyal throws the self-destruct and there's no Winston bubble, or they pop the Winston bubble. It makes me think that they have to be calling, hey, pop bubble, pop bubble, pop bubble. That's not an uncommon call in Overwatch. That's definitely, you know, like pretty standard, is that for the D.Va player to call to pop Winston bubble when they throw a self-destruct. But you see, you know, Hureg throws a rocket on the bubble, even though normally throwing a rocket on the bubble is kind of pointless, because, you know, you're not going to damage anybody. So the pop bubble, it forces all the members of RunAway off the point, and it kind of lets them, you know, recover and get back together, and they're able to maintain control of the point that entire time. And that's really key to note there, because RunAway still has 0% capture on this. You know, GC Busan has been in control the whole time. They're up at 70% now, and Prophet going for the long flank. Oh man, does he? I don't remember if he sticks his pulse bomb. Oh, he gets spotted. Okay. Does he make noise? I'm trying to think. Because he's doing the little, like, crouch walk, right? And you do this, and it minimizes the noise you make. I think honestly, Jono just happened to look there. But anyway, he gets spotted, so RunAway now knows he's there. Oh, he does get the pulse bomb. Damn. That's kind of... Wait, how does he... Because we see him running away. Kind of coming back. Where does he come from? So Bumper gets stuck, but Bumper's coming from the room up here. So Bumper is here. So Prophet must come back this way. Oh man, Prophet does. He jukes them. He comes back out, drops the pulse bomb, and he immediately blinks to... Wow, what the hell is my drawing today? And he blinks back out to over here. And that pulse bomb neutralizes the Winston, or not the Winston, the Lucio advantage that Tizzy got onto closer. Bumper goes down, and Bumper here, he's at 96, 97, 98, 99. He has Sound Barrier now, and we see Sound Barrier just came up, right? Like, it literally just came up, and he is stuck right now with the Pulse Bomb. So Bumper, in kind of desperation, goes for, he goes to drop the beat. So we see him trying to drop the beat here. But the problem is that Pulse Bomb has a 1 second fuse, and Sound Barrier, I believe, is a 1.5 second cast time. And that's a 1.5 second cast time on flat ground, right? He is trying to jump. He's trying to jump from here down to here and drop the beat. So it's going to be a little bit longer than 1.5 seconds. So there's a 0% chance he gets this off. So he dies. And this is the old patch, so Sound Barrier is not consumed. But on the new patch, he would be punished pretty heavily for this. Yeah, because he would lose Sound Barrier. So, anyways, Tizzy kills Gesture with the, what do you call it? With the Primal Rage. So then Janu immediately follows up, because again, there is no Winston. So he throws it really, really high. And this is what you do. You throw it way the fuck up here, because Pharah and Mercy are in the air, and you're basically using it as an anti-air tool. It does kill Hagopune, basically because Hagopune fucks up here. Because Hagopune's just like chilling right here. And he just gets popped. I don't know what he was doing. That was really dumb. So, yeah. And RunAway finally gets control back. Johnny comes back, peels for his Zen. And GC Busan has to kind of recover right now. So, coming into this fight, GC Busan should know that Sound Barrier is up for Bumper, because he attempted to cast it, but he died. You know, so they know that it's up. They know that it hasn't been consumed. And GC Busan is going to have a rough time for Hureg trying to get anything done, because there is a Sound Barrier to block, of course, the Rocket Barrage, as well as, of course, you know, Janu has Defense Matrix. But they do have both support ults coming up relatively soon, so if they give it a little bit of time, they'll have Res, they'll have their own Sound Barrier. But they are going into a Transcendence as well. So it's going to be really about if they can find a pick on either support. If you are GC Busan and you can pick either support of RunAway, you are like golden right now. But what happens is they get a little bit split up right here, right? So we can see they're kind of trying to funnel through this choke there and then through this door as well. And we see, you know, Hureg is all the way through. Jester is kind of, you know, in the middle. And we can see the Tesla cannon from Tizzy right here and the Genji coming down right behind him. And they just land directly in the middle of GC Busan. And GC Busan, unfortunately, pretty much just gets wrecked. There's no other really way to put that. If you're a Hureg there, you just start shooting rockets at the floor and killing yourself, because you're dead anyways. So it was a good split spawn from RunAway. That was a really aggressive play. GC Busan probably wasn't expecting them to be like that aggressive, but obviously it worked out. So, okay. So, Prophet comes this way, sees Stitch, but Prophet actually is escorting the rest of his team forward. Yeah. So, okay, yeah. All right, here comes the Winston. I'm trying to remember what happens in this fight before I say anything. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is one of the... Hoxall did not have the most amazing Dragon Blades a lot of the time this series, unfortunately. So, they try to do a very similar play, basically. They try and come forward, and as GC Busan, is kind of funneling out, they want to just hit them, fast and hard, right? So the Winston comes in, Stitch comes in, Hoxall comes in, but the problem is that this time, RunAway is also a little bit split up here. You see they kind of get staggered all over the point, and now they actually have to deal with Prophet on the objective because he's going to cap. So they have to peel back, and when they do that, we see Hureg's able to find a gap in the defense matrix, and he's just doing work now. Huyal, wait, did the self-destruct demech the diva? Oh no, Johnny just had no health. So Huyal, Huyal is baby diva demechs Johnny. Yeah, and then there's just no hope at that point. And they are in control. GC Busan flips it, I should say, during all that. So they pretty much crush this. Poor Cox here. Cox makes the right call where, let's see, he was on Zen, and he respawns as Soldier. And the reason why is because Soldier will actually be able to get back in time, because Sprint is absurdly fast. But Prophet immediately gets in his face and has a really good little stall here, because Cox can't even attempt to shoot at Farah, let alone get onto the objective, because Prophet's just in his face. So it was a really good little zone there. And cute little thing that doesn't actually matter is that rocket on Janu knocks him back, so he's not able to actually get onto the point. Again, doesn't matter. They were going to win anyways. But so Farah comes up trumps. Farah does a lot of work for GC Busan there, because every time they were in control of the objective, the Farah does work. Wow, I'm way too far forward. Okay, here we go. So this is another map where Farah is pretty good. This is not the most amazing Farah map in the world here on Village, because there are a lot of nooks and crannies to hide behind. But once again, if you are in control, the choke points that the attacking team has to kind of come through are pretty narrow. So you can do a lot of work with the rockets. So both teams are, let's see. Okay, wait, hold up. I want to get pause right here. Okay, cool. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay, cool. So we see kind of the tank lines of both teams, and the supports are kind of coming over towards this high ground here. And this is generally speaking, this is the area that teams fight over when they are attempting to control the point. Because if you go straight into the point, generally you can get flanked pretty easily. You can have someone come from just directly in front of you and from here. So teams generally fight on this side of the high ground. So we see, Janu a little bit farther back, and Janu has to hug Cox because there is Farah. So it's kind of unfortunate, because whenever there's a Farah and you don't have tools to effectively discourage the Farah player, the diva basically has to pocket Zenyatta. And the reason why it has to be Zen is because Bumpers Lucio, in theory, is mobile enough to just get out of the way, right? Hoxall and Stitch, in theory, are mobile enough to just get out of the way of rockets. But Cox is not. So he has to be pocketed. And that means that Tizzy does not have his diva protecting him. But then again, I'm actually not sure where Jester is right now, because Jester was walking up here. I think maybe Jester's going down, trying to come all the way around. So then we see, though, that Stitch, it looks like, went through here and came up, and Stitch is right here. Well, Prophet is right here. So Prophet took a much more direct route, and as we can see, he's kind of, on King of the Hill, there is this, line down the center of the map, right, where it is symmetric. symmetrical. I'm actually not sure which one it would be. Symmetrical. I think it'd be symmetrical. And Prophet is farther forward. So Prophet is going to be able to put pressure onto the members of Runaway. He has Hoxel in his face right now, and the Genji Tracer duel is one that Tracer has the advantages in because recall is just fucking absurd in pretty much every duel. But specifically in Genji Tracer, as well as she has all sorts of blinks to try and predict the Genji's dash. And if Genji uses his dash and misses it on the Tracer, he's pretty much dead. So, but because of deflect, it's not like it's a matchup that Prophet can very quickly win, right? Hoxel has time to kind of live and get assistance there. But if he's able to kind of push Hoxel back, and then, Closure comes up and helps him with Stitch, Prophet's going to be able to put pressure here. So, where did Gesture go? I still can't see him. Yeah, and see when it... Oh, man, this sucks. So, we get a good view of it here, right? Where Cox has to hide from the Pharah, Janu has to hug him, Bumper is sitting there, giving him speed, right? And this Pharah pick, even though he's not actually, killing anybody right now, he's essentially controlling what Runaway can do. And that's one of the biggest advantages of Pharah, is not so much... Her damage is very good, don't get me wrong, but one of the biggest advantages of Pharah is just the sheer threat of her damage. So... Ooh, he doesn't get the kill before Prophet picks up the health pack, but he still wins. In the Tracer v Tracer duel, generally speaking, if you have a health pack and the other Tracer does not, you're probably going to win. Nice. So, Cox kills Hureg, actually. It was with a right click, I believe. Yeah, when Hureg went to hide, Cox charged up the right click. And that was really good. Cox kills, Prophet a couple times with right clicks. Cox, this is what I mean. Cox's Zenyatta was super good this series, and I think it went a little bit under the radar. And it's not surprising though, because Cox was originally a DPS player, and he was really good on Ana for a while. So, also one thing to do, actually, if you want to learn how to play Tracer, is just watch Prophet. Even just go watch his stream and just watch all these little jumps that he does. So this is one of the more commonly known ones, where you come back and you hop onto the horse here and then you blink forward and it gets you up into the high ground. But he doesn't. He knows jumps on all sorts of maps to use Tracer's horizontal mobility and turns it into vertical mobility using the map architecture, and it's really impressive. So see what I mean right here? This is a really good example of where. Runaway has decided on their attack route, right? They, as they're all die and they reset, they say, okay, guys, we're going to go through, whatever they call it. I don't even know what to call this area of the map. Probably lower side. I have no idea, but lower side or something, right? But basically, this funnels them through either this choke point or the choke point right here when they come through this lower section of this building right here. And if they come through the upper section, right, it's just that choke point. So either way, they don't really have a good option. And they drop the bubble now, but this bubble is going to get destroyed because it's going to get hammered with Pharah rockets. Huyal can shoot it, and Prophet can shoot it. And D.Va actually has relatively good DPS when you hit when you hit all of her bullets, which, on the giant Winston bubble is very easy to do. So that bubble's going to get popped, and then Johnny's going to have to start consuming defense matrix, coming through this choke point, just to get them out of the choke point. And then there is a window where you're either not going to have defense matrix, or you're not going to have much defense matrix, and Tizzy's not going to have bubble, and the Pharah actually starts doing damage, and just instead of just threatening damage. So this is going to be pretty brutal. Bubble goes down, right? Rockets keep hammering in, and they're eventually forced to change up the choke point that they come through. Oh, Cox drops Trance. That was Huyal self-destruct, yeah. Where does Huyal throw that from? Or does he just... Oh, no, Huyal gets demacked. Okay. Huyal gets demacked, and he just drops the self-destruct to try and get back at his mech, which is the right call. You need to get back in your mech here. Ooh, that was good from Janu, though, to block the rest of that. That could have been a lot worse. But, as we saw, though, he did kill Bumper without even the rocket barrage. And did he chunked Cox, right? Yeah, okay. He chunked Cox with a rocket, not even the rocket barrage itself. And Prophet was able to finish him up. But the rocket barrage forced Janu off to the side. Ooh. Oh, yeah, this was the sickest Dragon Blade from Hoxel. Okay. So, gets the res, and once he reses, Hawksall immediately goes for the blade. And because he knows that Mercy is invulnerable right now, but bam, bam. So he gets slash, dash, slash. So he gets 2, right? So he manages to do, that is way more than enough damage to kill Mercy. Gets the, holy shit, wait, was closer that low? Oh, no. Okay, so on closer here, so he gets 1, 2, 3, and then he gets slash, hits closer, there's the slash animation on the screen, slash, and then he actually immediately dashes, so he gets that reset. So now he's up in the air, he immediately flicks around, finds Hureg, dashes up. Does he hit him with the dash? I can't, wait, I need to go back. I think he does hit him with that dash, and then hits the slash. And then, oh my god. And Prophet managed to follow him after that next dash, but that was fucking disgusting from Hawksall. The ability to, like, find his opponents as well as animation cancel while doing so, like, and so perfectly on the slash into the Swift Strike is just, ugh. It's absolutely beautiful. It's just ridiculous. Hawksall is still a very good Genji. I know that Prophet does some really good stuff on Genji later in the series, but Hawksall is still a very good Genji. There's no questions about that. So, they finally flipped the point, though. 80%. I think that's pretty much just as bad as on the last map. God, yeah, that blade was so disgusting. Prophet, once again, going for the flank. Okay, hold up. So, ooh, he might not be seen, because Stitch, actually, this right here, you can see is the animation of Stitch blinking that way. So Prophet might actually be unseen here. I don't remember how this goes. Okay. Oh no, Stitch isn't looking for him. Oh man. So if you're playing against GC Busan and Prophet is on Tracer, at all times where you don't know where Prophet is, you have to assume he's in your back line. Like, legitimately. He has constantly made these flank attacks against every team. And he just slips right in. Oh, what? He doesn't go for the pulse bomb? What? Oh, man. Alright, well, I think that was a wasted opportunity. I'm pretty sure here you just blink forward and drop the pulse bomb onto Winston and chuck Dizzy out. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, regardless, it gives us another opportunity. So, look, you can jump in front of the horse, down, and jump onto the gong here, and then get back up. So, and he does it so smoothly, too. He's obviously practiced it. But yeah, it's another little jump. So Janu, though, right here, this is what I'm trying to look at. Janu, defense matrix on Tizzy, blocks a lot of the damage, but not all of it. Tizzy's like pretty low, so he has to jump out. Blocks more damage. Okay, no, I think Janu, yeah, Janu did that right. It's just, I don't know, it's tough to block all of the damage, but he was blocking most of it. Oh man, the supports live. That was really sick from Janu, actually. That peel there onto his supports, where Prophet's coming forward, and look at this. Oh man, it sucks that Prophet had to reload there. If Prophet didn't have to reload, he would have got that kill. But you know, he has to reload. Ooh, nice. 3-man res. And 3-man res onto 3 very critical targets, both your DPS and the Winston. And that res basically ends the fight. There's no way you're gonna. Because when you get a 3-man res onto such high value targets like that, there's no way you're gonna outvalue that. You'd have to like suddenly go man mode and have like 100% accuracy on Hawksall and Stitch to win that. But yeah, Janu. Oh, okay, yeah. So Janu was demexed. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So Janu's low, and demexed there. So the second he's demexed, not the second, but a few seconds after Janu is demexed, the Winston bubble goes down, and here comes Hureg dropping the Rocket Barrage. Yeah. Annihilates Tizzy, because Tizzy was right here. Wow, you can't see that because of all the stuff. Tizzy was right here, and at that range, the Rocket Barrage is going to hit you with so many rockets, and he just got melted. Despite the fact that he is Winston, he just got completely melted. And he because he is mobile, he is immobile during that. Despite the sound barrier, Stitch and John were able to cut him down. But this was a nice play from Stitch actually, because he knows that despite the fact that he misses this pulse bomb, and the fact that Jester gets the health pack and has a large health pack there as well. He knows that because of the Discord Orb, he wins this 100% of the time. Yeah. So, kills him. Cox, why did Cox pop? I don't know why Cox popped Transcendence here. Because Cox kills Prophet, then pops Transcendence. And no one from GC Busan is really attacking. That's actually a pretty big error. Because in this coming fight, they could have had Transcendence. That's actually, I did not notice that on my first watch through. That he popped Trans at like that a super bad time. But they could have had Transcendence for now. And they end up losing this next fight, I believe. And having Trance probably means you don't lose. So yeah, Hureg and Hagopune switch onto Zen Doomfist as opposed to Far Mercy. So this gets you, because again, you are no longer in control. So you no longer get to spam the choke points because you actually have to come through the choke points yourself. Runaway gets time to set up, and if you're playing Far right now, right, like, Hawksall, these guys, they have time to hide behind the pillars because, they are the ones in control now. So he switches to Doomfist because now these pillars are your enemy. And once again, I'll highlight it because, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't get highlighted enough. Stitch is on the side. He is off to the side. He is looking for the flank from Prophet. Generally speaking, I think Tracers should be up on this high ground when they're looking for the flank because that is most commonly where Tracers flank from, as well as, Prophet just so happens to be right there, flanking from that high ground. But I like that Stitch was at least looking for the flank because, as we talked about earlier, if he is able to simply to kind of get over there and shoot Prophet a few times and discourage Prophet from coming through the backline, then, that's kind of a win for Runaway. As well as it gives him information on just where Prophet is. So, Huyal with this, is it? Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe it's not this fight. Yeah, Hawksall gets away. There's no chance Diva kills him there because he just got a kill. The deflect means Diva does the damage, and he got the dash reset. So, Huyal here, though, this was a really good... oh, god damn it. God damn it. Who just... Whatever. Someone messaged me on Discord. So this self-destruct, though, from Huyal is really good. And the reason why it's really good is because he's throwing it in at the same time that the rest of his team is diving. Actually, I can go back to yellow. But as we see here, Hureg actually just gets, like... I'm pretty sure it's Hawksall who just, like, kills Hureg straight up. Jester goes in, that's good. This is all well and good because the self-destruct, in theory, while the rest of Runaway is busy dealing with these two people in their face, the self-destruct can come in and either it forces them to, run out of the point here and hide from the self-destruct, in which case, GC Busan can kind of take positional advantage, or potentially they don't notice it because there's other stuff going on and they die. So that's a better way to use self-destruct than how most use it, because most people just kind of throw it in optimistically. But this is good. But yeah, but Hawksall just kills Hureg straight up. So because Hureg goes down and Jester got chunked out, so he had to back off, there's unfortunately no follow-up for that self-destruct. So the self-destruct looked a little bit weird, but it was actually a pretty good self-destruct, I think. What was... Oh, the Los Angeles Valiant. Interesting. That Mercy skin looks pretty good. Sorry, that was the notification, I guess, for Discord. Was in Protalk, or not Protalk, sorry, the Overwatch, that Discord server. It's the Los Angeles Valiant is the Immortals roster. It's green, just like the Immortals. Anyways. So... Okay, so Cox using Transcendence didn't matter too much. It could have. Saying it could have is really funny. But just because Cox does not get punished for using that Transcendence like really badly doesn't mean it wasn't a bad play, right? So, anyways, GC Busan comes in onto the point. Where is... Okay, there's Tizzy. Tizzy is right behind this massive B that I don't need to see because I know where the objective is, So he's right there. I really hope this is one of the things that goes away in the new spectator client. This is stupid. Anyways, so Tizzy is contesting the point, so that way it doesn't get flipped on them accidentally. I'm just going to assume he has a Harmony Orb on him. Jester does as well. And GC Busan's kind of coming in from the same direction. We see the Doomfist is right here. Prophet is right here. So even Prophet is coming from the same direction, which is a little bit weird. Their supports are really far back. So, okay, that kind of makes sense. And one of the reasons your supports want to be so far back is, regardless, it makes them a little bit harder to dive, but a lot of the time that doesn't matter because Winston can reach so far, Genji can reach so far, Tracer can get onto you regardless. But right now, the members of RunAway are very concerned with staying on the objective because if you're not on the objective, you might just lose. You might C9. So the supports being this far back is actually pretty good. And the Lucio is not up here with the rest of his team because, of course, he's peeling for the Zen. Let's see. I can't tell where Bumper's Lucio is. I think that's him right there. Underneath the Diva. I think that is him. And Cox is right here. Cox is in a really good position, actually, because this kind of corner and this corner form a narrow little window that he can fire through, and he can hit people as they come through this doorway. So he's able to, as we can see, he has his Discord orb on Huyal, and he's going to be able to, chunk people out or, through damage in. So that's pretty good. But now Prophet has, somehow slipped his way around the side. God, how does he do this, dude? Prophet's there. Okay, so we see Prophet, and he just comes around the side and just... Johnny's looking at him. Johnny knows he's there. Winston Bubble goes down. Oh, man, look at that timing. Okay, so I need to put this on slow-mo so I can explain this. Quarter speed. So, sure, reloads. He hides while he reloads, because why not? There's no point in taking damage while you're reloading. Winston Bubble, Winston Bubble, Winston Bubble. Defense Matrix, block, 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 block. Block, block, block. Defense Matrix goes down, right? And, Prophet knows, because, he's not stupid, that there's a 1 second window between Defense Matrix going down. And blink, pulse bomb, blink back out. And because there's a Discord orb on Tizzy right now, from Hagopune, pop, dead Winston. And see, there's Defense Matrix back up. So all that entire sequence of Prophet blinking forward, tossing pulse bomb, the entire sequence of Prophet realizing Defense Matrix is down, blinking forward, pulse bombing, blinking back out, not recalling, blinking back out. He still has recall, and all that whole sequence happens in less than a second. Oh man, that is scary as hell. That's one of the things that makes Prophet so good, is his ability to read information so stupidly quickly. I can hardly keep up with him, and I gotta sit here and pause constantly. So Tizzy's dead, and that's basically the fight, honestly. Or no, sorry. Tizzy dies. That's right. Sorry, I forgot. RunAway wins this one. Tizzy dies, but Jester also has a Discord orb on him, and Hoxall is very quickly able to cut through him. And then Hureg gets the Discord orb. Ooh. Hureg lives because of the punch, so Hoxall doesn't kill him, because the punch gives him a shield, of course. But Stitch cleans him up. And Stitch is now in the backline, just cleaning house. And Stitch comes up with a triple? Maybe the quad. I can't remember. Yeah. So, it was a really sick pick from Prophet. I forgot how that team fight went. Yeah. It was a sick pick from Prophet, but the Transcendence from Cox ends up saving them there. Because they just have so much healing, and they're able to kind of survive through the rest of the fight. And then Hoxall's Dragon Blade gets sufficient damage down to be effective, and Stitch wins out. So, this is another map that I constantly talk about that Pharah is stupidly powerful on. And the biggest reason why Pharah is powerful on this map is purely because of the meta. And RunAway doing this is just it's so stupid. Honestly, it's really dumb. So what they're doing here, they don't really give me a good shot of it, but they're running up to the high ground here, right? You're running up this little pathway through the little door here, and then it goes through the other little door, that way. And this is the door that you come out of, and you start fighting. And this is the path that teams have taken on, what is this? Is this Village? This is the path that teams on Village, Nepal have taken for, I don't even know, over a year, basically. This is just the established path that you take to run out onto Village, Nepal. And this path is really, 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 really stupid if you know you're going up against a team that's gonna play Pharah. So, anyways, we see Prophet and Stitch are both pretty much in the exact same position. They both blinked forward, you know, and come out of the door to the side. They're gonna, you know, tickle each other from that range. And what's happening now is we can't see Hureg on the screen. We can see Hagopune here, but we can see his missiles, his line of his missiles coming down, right? And basically, what Hureg gets to do is just pummel this doorway with missiles. And he's going to consume all of Janu's defense matrix, or he's going to eat up a Winston bubble, or he's going to hit you in your face. So none of those three options are particularly good, right? And all RunAway has to do is come out from a different doorway. You don't want to do this door because it's a little too close. You can do this door that starts right here. You can go through the main doorway that's like near the objective itself, right? And the reason why like it's really dumb to come through this is because Pharahs, because they know that every single team just goes through this pathway, they jump out of spawn, use a rocket, use their concussive blast to propel themselves forward so they can get up into the air, like way up here before you get here, before you get to this door. So they can start pummeling damage in. And it just corrals RunAway, as we're going to see here, right? The Pharah up in the air forces RunAway back. They force the Zen right here, the Lucio, and the Diva. Once again, Janu is stuck peeling for his supports, and it's because they have no way to effectively deal with this Pharah. If you were going to play against Pharah Mercy, and you are playing Zen, you know, not even necessarily Genji, but Zen, right? Your Zen, so, actually, okay, I'm going to take a step back, sorry. Ignore the Pharah. Ignore the fact that there's Genji, right? We're going to look at Mercy, and we're going to look at Zen, right? So Mercy can heal 50 damage per second, right? So we'll say healing, right? Healing. And damage, she can damage boost 30%, right? So, but because she's pretty much only using her damage boost on Pharah, we'll say that, you know, she's damage boosting, you know, 1 rocket per second, maybe, right? If Pharah hits a direct rocket, that's 120 damage. The damage boost is 36 damage per second. And that's on the high end, right? That's on a very, very lucky end. So Zen can heal 30 health per second, right? And he can damage boost also 30%. But because he puts it on a target and he damage boosts his entire team, he generally damage boosts more than, right? So this is like an undefined figure, right? Because it depends. But generally speaking, it is more than 36 damage per second. And then that is ignoring the fact that he is also doing damage himself, right? So say, you know, the Zen hits, he throws, I think he throws like, I think he throws 2 orbs a second. Maybe it's like 1.8 or something like that. But even if he hits 1 orb per second plus Discord Orb, this figure is, you know, somewhere in the realm of like, we'll say like, you know, maybe like 60 to, you know, on the high end, if everyone's focusing the Discord Orb target, you know, somewhere in the realm of like he's contributing, you know, maybe like 90 damage per second, right? My point being, though, is that these numbers for Zenyatta are way higher than these numbers for Mercy, right? But the other thing is, Mercy gets to do one or the other. She's either healing or she is either damage boosting. Zen does both at the same time. So this is why Mercy sucks as a support outside of Resurrect, because she just doesn't do anything compared to Zenyatta, right? Zen, you know, yes, he heals significantly less, but he also is contributing damage, while Mercy's either contributing damage or healing. But Zen does both. And that's the core issue with why Mercy doesn't really do anything. It's not because, you know, she's incredibly safe, but she just doesn't do anything compared to Zen. So if you're going to play Zen, you have to be able to put yourself into a position to be the aggressor and get the full advantage out of Zenyatta's kit, right? But now, we remove all these numbers, we ignore all that math, and suddenly we realize, wait, there's a Pharah on Hureg, and Hoxel's playing Genji. Genji can't effectively deal with Pharah unless he has Dragon Blade, and even then it's not reliable in any way. But the Pharah means that your supports and your Diva have to do this. They have to hide, Janu has to protect your supports, and your supports have to just like play like, you know, just like play super passively. In which case, all the advantages of Zen are gone right now. His Discord Orb, it looks like it isn't even on anybody. I don't see the Discord Orb affecting any of the members of GC Busan. But, you know, Hagopune just healed up Gesture. He's going to go back and damage boost Hureg. So this Pharah allows you to overcome the weaknesses of Mercy when there's no answer to the Pharah. And that's why Farm Mercy works. Like, that at its core is why Farm Mercy works so well. It's not because Mercy is amazing. It's because Pharah forces the enemy team to play around her, and then it allows you to overcome the weaknesses of the Mercy. There's my little rant on Farm Mercy and why you always need to be ready to deal with the Pharah if you are playing against a team that has a Pharah player, right? And this is exactly, that whole thing there is exactly why. And look at this, like, the supports are still back, right? Oh my god, Cox is actually insane though. Cox actually, holy shit. Cox is actually nutty. He hits the headshot and then just, oh my god. Alright. Unless your Zen is as good as Cox. But, like, regardless, it still sucks, right? The positional advantage for GC Busan was there, and, you know, they're able to get to the point and take over the point first. And I believe they hold it. This fight gets a little bit close. It gets a little bit messy, but they're able to hold it, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that whole argument there of, like, why Pharah is so good is not basically. It's not the whole reason, but it is a reason why Seagull to Envious was so good, because it's like, oh my god, we have a proper, like, amazing Pharah player now, you know. And it's the same reason why I would not be surprised to see, like, Mangachu picked up by a team, like, literally to play Pharah. Like, he's not going to do anything else but play Pharah. For every other map where they don't want to run Pharah, they'll just sub a different DPS in. Because you're allowed to sub in, apparently, every map, which is, like, kind of massive for teams that have big rosters. Yeah. So, God, Hureg. That was so disgusting, because the reason why this kill is so important is because Janu, right here, had the option of jumping off the map, right? He had the option of jumping off the map, and then you put yourself on a fixed 10-second timer. Say, okay, in 10 seconds, I will be back at base with my mech, right? But what they're doing instead is they say, okay, we're going to attempt to let Janu get his mech back by doing damage. And that, of course, means he does not have to make the run back from spawn. He is there immediately. They're like, okay, he's at 50%, you know, call mech charges very fast. But he gets some damage, you know, I think he hits a couple shots there, sure. But now he gets killed. So these extra few seconds that he spent running around are just extra time that RunAway is delayed. So it's just like that extra few percent that they're conceding. And look at this, Hureg is doing, oh my god, exactly this. He's forcing the members of RunAway to play in a certain way. And look, while he's doing this, he kills Bumper, and Cox doesn't really want to expose himself, so he doesn't actually, like, come forward. And Janu, because Janu died and was in base, no one's there to protect Tizzy either. And Pharah, so when Pharah is hitting these direct hits like this, right? Let's see, one... Okay, that wasn't a direct hit, but they're very close, right? A direct hit from Pharah's rocket is 120 damage. And Harmony Orb is 30 healing per second. So every time you hit a direct rocket, it takes 4 seconds for Harmony Orb to heal that person back up, right? And that's ignoring the fact that other people are doing damage, you know, stuff like that. So when it's just Zen healing your Winston and he's getting hammered by Pharah, there's no chance he lives. Especially when Johnny isn't there to put, you know, defense matrix, right? Like, this is just so disgusting. The zone control that this Pharah has. And not to take away from Hureg, you know, Hureg played it very well. It's not like, oh, Hureg's just playing Pharah and Pharah is really good. It's like, no, Hureg is playing the Pharah very well, but RunAway is also doing nothing to stop him. Yeah, I don't know what you want. Oh, man. They're forced to come in with trance. Or Cox get... Oh, no, sorry. Cox gets chunked. It looks like Cox got dove, so they're forced to trance on Cox. And then the beat was dropped in response. Okay, gotcha. Oh, man. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So where does Johnny go? Oh, this was such a sick bait from Hureg, actually. It doesn't work out, but I like the bait. So what he does is he drops down, and when you drop down like that, and you drop down to the level of the point, you have to assume that the Pharah is going to go for a rocket barrage, because what's the point of being that close as Pharah, right? And Farah can stay in the air forever after the changes, you know, a while back, right? So Johnny like throws up the defense matrix in his face, and then he goes back up, and Johnny was like, "Oh, okay, never mind." And then Hureg comes in for the self-destruct. Doesn't really work because Hawksall reacts appropriately, deflects most of it back in his face, and Johnny finishes him off. And the self-destruct from Johnny was really good. He threw it up high in the air, like we talked about earlier, and he knocks the Mercy out of the sky. And that is the second time, actually, that Hagopune on the Mercy died to a self-destruct that could have been avoided. So that is a little, you know, a small weakness in GC Busan's play. Is that maybe Hagopune, it doesn't have the most movement control over Mercy, you know? He's not maybe super aware of where his Guardian Angel target should be, but, you know, it's a small criticism, because it's not like he's getting picked in other situations. It was pretty much just, you know, the self-destructs. Prophet, once again, you know, living in the backline of Runaway. Tempo res on a gesture. And see, this is my point, right? This screenshot here actually gives a super good example of what I'm talking about of Mercy's weakness, right? I'm going to switch to red right now for the pen, or purple or whatever this is you have a tank, Huyal, who's very low health. The only person who's even potentially healing him is Lucio, because the Mercy right now is flying up towards the Farah to damage boost. We can see the blue damage boost icon right here. Mercy is giving damage boost, but right now, Hureg isn't even hitting anybody. So right now, Mercy is contributing 0 damage and 0 healing to this team fight. The power of the Mercy in this team fight comes from the fact that she just rezzed a Winston, right? So that ability brings 500 health plus damage plus shield back into the fight. Resurrect is basically all Hagopune contributes. But that goes to show how powerful Resurrect is. That, like, it's still worth it, even though she wasn't contributing anything. And now she's healing the D.Va, I believe, because the D.Va's health starts going up quite quickly, and Hagopune does not have damage boost. But that's my point. Mercy has a lot of downtime of not really doing anything. So basically, what I'm saying is play Zenyatta. Although new Mercy is better because you get to tempo res constantly, and tempo resing means that you do stuff. As well as her ultimate lets her actually contribute to fights, because you get to heal multiple players and damage boost multiple players. So, yeah. Anyways, so they get the fight back. Runaway, you know, tries to stall this, but they don't. I believe this fight gets staggered on for a while. Oh yeah, but look, res onto Hureg. Haha, ha ha ha. Tempo res. He actually charged that up really fast though. Damn. So anyways, yeah. Runaway. Do. There we go. Cool. So that was map 1, and that was relatively long, but I like turning King of Hill into long maps. So I hope you guys will continue watching the rest of this video series. That was map 1. There should be 6 more videos to come. But thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.